Namaskar. I will begin with a short invocation. या योग सिद्ध परमेश्वर योग शक्ति सम्मूर्त सर्व शिव सुंदर सत्यसारा वात्सल्यवारिधि विभास्वर रत्नरम्या तामातरम् भगवतीं सततम् स्मरामः।
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to all of you. Please join me in thanking Bhavna Sabharwal for the beautiful rendition of the shloka from Shri Aurobindo's bhajan. It invokes Shakti, truth, beauty, tender love, the ocean, light and sound, and all that makes up the universe. Bhavna is a graduate in music from the University of Allahabad. She has also trained in Hindustani classical vocal music under the illustrious guru, late Pandit Ramashray Jha. Bhavna is a director of Art Ichol and has been associated with the center from its inception. Gifted with the beautiful voice that you just heard, her passion for music extends to teaching children and adults. Thank you, Bhavna. We are here this evening to celebrate the launch of the first issue of the Art Ichol Journal through a panel discussion on the need for multi-skill centers in the country. Art Ichol was conceived as a kind of fantasy, a dream by Ambika Berry, who has been associated with the arts for over 22 decades. And her gallery Sanskriti in Kolkata is celebrating its 25th year. In 2013, Ambika asked me to bring a few individuals from different creative fields to spend a week or so in Ichol. As I walked around and soaked in the ambience, the facilities, the culture and history of the region, I knew just the kind of people who would respond to this space. And this became the beginning of my association with Art Ichol. The inaugural residency, which included photographers, writers, a fashion designer, textile artist, filmmaker and dancer, led the way for the birth of the journal we are about to launch today. It was in seeing the kind of interactions that were taking place between the participants, the dialogues that were unfolding, and the palpable excitement of discovery and evolution in their respective fields. Through this exchange of living spaces and the shared discovery of Mayar, Bandhavgarh, Khajuraho, and each other, and much, much more, that Ambika suggested we compile a journal. And that is how I came to be the editor of this journal. As we worked upon it, and I started looking at the drawings, the photos and stories and poems that were emerging, I said to Ambika that the space which has brought forth this creativity has to be featured in the journal. Therefore, we have a substantive section on the making of Ichol. As a teenager, I used to be fascinated by the house that Ambika and her family lived in. Her father, late Suraj P. Sabharwal, is also the architect of the Ichol Art Center, ably assisted by the exceptionally talented Narayan Chandra Sinha, who conceptualized the inner spaces of the Khaprel Koti, an iconic building at Ichol. Suraj Sabharwal passed away in May this year. This journal is as much a tribute to him as it is to the art center that he built literally in the middle of nowhere. I know you will enjoy the stories that tell of feats as much as the quirky tale of Narayan and Ambika on the Kabaddi trail. And of course, the rest of it is nothing less than a treat for your senses. At least, I hope it is. I now invite Ambika Berry, Director and Founder of the Art Ichol Center, Madhya Pradesh, to please come up and say a few words. Ambika and I studied textile designing together, and we have known each other for well nigh 4 decades now. I am still badgering her about the lack of textile facilities at the Art Ichol Center, but I also recognize how her aesthetic sensibility has been channeled towards the nurturing of art, artists and their art, and that this center, a labor of love, has been envisioned by the artist in her. Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand for Ambika Berry Sabharwal.
It's wonderful to see all of you here and to be in your presence. Art Ichol is my vision for a world-class multi-skill center, a dream that came with a will of its own and became my purpose and driving force for the last 3 years. Over the years, painters, ceramists, sculptors, writers, photographers, and all sorts of creative people streamed in, making Mayur a melting pot of creative exploration and a fusion of various mediums. I realized this place could be a source of something much greater than these random gatherings, and thus the idea of Art Ichol was born. It is blessed with an environment that inspires the impossible. Art Ichol is not merely a visual arts center, but a commune for all creative fields. Today, I'd like to make a special mention of my father, late Suraj P. Sabharwal, who grasped my vision and turned my dreamscape into a blueprint. At the age of 81, he started work and was on site for the last 3-4 years until the last brick was set. His dedication and determination was admirable and an inspiration to all who knew him and worked with him. It is also my tribute to those great artists and people who influenced my life and with whom I have worked for the last 25 years. I envision Art Ichol as a cultural reservoir for legacies to be left behind, in where people will be remembered by the creative work they did here for generations ahead. To share Art Ichol with my friends, colleagues and patrons has been the biggest blessing of all. I would like more and more people to benefit from the space and its inspiring pulse. Looking out from a little window in Mayur, I dream of sharing Art Ichol with the whole world. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambika, for sharing your vision for the Art Ichol Center. I am sure that just like your dream to build it, this vision too will indeed manifest with the same grace and energy that birthed the center. I would now like to invite Dr. Alka Pandey to please come up and chair the discussion on the need for multi-skilled art centers in the country, and to introduce the panelists for this evening. Alka Pandey basically needs no introduction. Her work and contribution to the field of art are well known. Dr. Pandey is an art historian, independent curator, and author of several books that focus on Indian arts and ancient Indian erotic literature and aesthetics. She is currently a consultant and arts advisor and curator of the Visual Arts Gallery at the India Habitat Center. In 2006, she was honored as a Knight of the Order of Arts and Letters by the French government. And in 2009, she received the Australia Asia Council Award for her contribution in the sphere of arts. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in extending a warm welcome to Dr. Alka Pandey.
Thank you, Gopika, for that lovely introduction, which makes me a bit embarrassed. But today I'm here really as an admirer of Ambika. I'm here only for that. Many years ago, India is a country of stories, and we all have our unique stories. And nothing starts within the Indian cultural consciousness without a katha. So I have a little katha about Ambika. I met her more than 10 years ago, and she came with her energy, with her flamboyance, with her lovely sister-in-law, and talked about Maihar. And the thing she told me, she said, "Kabhi Maihar aao." And I thought of Maihar with such a lot of romance, because my mother is a trained singer of the Gwalior Gharana, and I could only think of Alauddin Khan Sahib. And then she says, "Wahan na tum aogi to malish badi achhi hogi." So, for me, between the conceptual and the music and the Advait philosophy of being one with the Paramatma and thinking of that gorgeous massage, I would keep telling her, next winter. It never happened. It just didn't happen. Till one day, out of the blue, she just rang me up and she said, "I am asking you to come. They're going to be 2 friends of mine. I'm sending you a train ticket and we are going to be enjoying ourselves in Maihar." I'm a very spontaneous kind of a person, and that's why I've broken this lovely kind of program which Ambika checked and rechecked and came specially to the office and said, "Aise karna, galti mat karna." I said, one has to break the form. And if you don't break the form, you don't become a Tayyab Mehta. You don't break the line of the human body, you don't create a Mahishasur Mardini. So I've decided to break the form. Forgive me for that. Apologies. But, in India, like a politician, once you get the mic, you don't want to let it go. So today, I just want to say a few things about Ambika, which I've never been able to say, because Delhi is fraught. One is running from one place to another, like a dog catching its own tail. And I thought that as we're all growing older, we should also say nice things about each other to the face. And I think Ambika deserves really a great ovation for this, for setting up Art Ichol, because for many of those who are here today, I see they are part of the Ichol art family. I met them at the residency, but there are some who haven't been there. Until you do not go there, you cannot experience what Art Ichol is. Right in the heart of one of India's most culturally rich areas, in this land of cultural diversity, in this land of pluralism, next to the mighty Khajuraho temples, is Art Ichol. And I don't really want to call it a multi-skill center, which is a nice word which has been used, but I would like to take it to something even more. It is almost like a Gurukul, where you go there. There are people, you actually learn what it is to understand yourself, because there's peace, there's quiet, and you can have a conversation. और हमारी सभ्यता में चिंतन का बहुत महत्व है. हर आर्टिस्ट को, हर कलाकार को कहा जाता है चिंतन करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. And in Art Ichol, you can actually do chintan. This is this beautiful colonial bungalow. And what is lovely is the spirit of that place. And I would, because my PhD was on Ardhanarishwar, I'm not going to keep aside the male part of Ambika's family, which is her son Aditya. I did see him somewhere here. And I'm of that uncertain age that I need to wear glasses. So there he is. And her supportive husband, who stands like the pillar of strength and the rock of Gibraltar, Sanjeev, who's here. And I'm glad they're always there with Ambika. So this whole concept of the yin and the yang and the purush and the prakriti, which make this wonderful Brahmand, which is the cosmos which you see in close by in Khajuraho. I'm so glad that everybody is here, and that's what makes Art Ichol what it is. Because a woman who keeps her family together keeps a nation together. And Ma Sharda's temple, to which Ambika took us, has got its aura really protecting this beautiful Gurukul. And the other thing what I like about the whole thing, and as beautifully as Gopika put the whole thing together, having different kinds of people from different, not only trajectories, but different disciplines. It goes back to the story which I love to tell my students, which is from the Chitrasut of the Vishnu Dharmottar Puran, the incident between King Vajra and the sage Markande. When King Vajra wanted to go and learn art, he went to the sage and said, "Oh master, teach me the art of painting." To which King Vajra asked him, "Do you know the art of drawing?" He said, "No master, teach me the art of drawing." To which he said, "Then do you know the art of dance?" He said, "No master, I don't know the art of dance." He said, "Teach me the art of dance." To which he said, "Do you know the art of music?" To which he said, "No master, I do not." He said, "Begin with music, because that is the most abstract of all arts." So within the Indian cultural consciousness, it is this constant interdisciplinary which exists side by side, and the Natya Shastra, which is the basis of the Rasa theory, which teaches us all about Indian aesthetics. That's what it is. Today, an artist can be a dancer, performer, poet, musician. He is an artist, and that is what actually you can do in Art Ichol. And for that, I am so glad that in contemporary times, when art is more about consumption, there is a whole new kind of places which are being set up where the production and the process of conceptual thought is going to be given its due place. And many, many congratulations, Ambika, for doing this, for bringing out a journal, because Indian art is always about text and image. The image may say 1,000 words, but in the old days, whenever an artist tried to make the pratima of whether it was God, whether it was the king, whether it was the secular, he first went into meditation and thought about the written word. And then he made his individual expression. So it's wonderful that there is a place like Art Ichol. I think I have overstepped my time, but I did want to say these things about Ambika, and I did want to say how wonderful it is that in contemporary times, when it's more about commerce and less about the process, that there is a place like this. I'll get back to the drill, back to the army lines. I'm going to now invite the panelists. We have 4 of them here. There's Bandeep Singh. Maybe I'd like a little light perhaps, because I need to just now.
Ladies and gentlemen, and Saroja Vaidyanathan ji, Gustakhi Maaf, I had a special introduction for you later, but I felt that it would be appropriate to let the audience know that we have the esteemed Guru, Padma Bhushan Saroja Vaidyanathan among us. We hope she'll share a few words with us later, and now I'll just leave Alka for the discussion. Thank you.
Sometimes surprises are always nice, Gopika, so that was nice. So we actually have 3 panelists with us today. But I'm going to have a very sartorial Paresh Maiti with his cap and his lovely lime green trousers, who's here, and we are not going to let him go. So you have to join us, Paresh. I'm very happy to see you here because I met you at Art Ichol. और आज आप ना नहीं कर सकते हैं, बैठेंगे हमारे साथ कुर्सी में, because he's one of the artists who is so intuitive. I love his watercolors, and he's all over the world. His work is at Art Ichol, and I'm not going to give a big introduction about you, but we want you here.
Thank you.
Okay, now I will introduce also my friend Arshia, who's a very dear friend, more than her biodata that I'm going to read. Arshia is a scholar, activist, artist, media personality, administrator, cultural visionary. Dr. Sethi has been the executive director of the annual Delhi International Arts Festival. She set up the Cree Foundation, which does wonderful work. She is a progressive link between the practice, management, and scholarship of the arts, and in promoting a developmental agenda. And of course, she was one of the founders of the programming at the India Habitat Center. I'd like to invite Shudeep Sen, an award-winning poet, widely recognized as a major new generation voice in world literature. His poems have been translated into 25 languages, have featured in major international anthologies, and he's the editorial director of Arc Arts and the editor of Atlas. As a photographer and graphic artist, his work is part of many professional print portfolios, magazines, and newspaper pieces, book jacket covers, private and public collections, including The Hindu, Deccan Chronicle, New Indian Express, Swagat Gallery, Biblio, Prairie Schooner, Molasses, World Literature Today, Indian Design and Interiors, and many other magazines. And now it gives me the greatest pleasure in inviting my friend Bandeep Singh, with whom I've been walking a great journey for the last 14 years. Whether it is his first exhibition, which I curated, or the wonderful work which he has been constantly doing, or the jury member that he has been for our photo award. 12 years we walked this journey. So it's with great pride that I want to introduce you. I feel that I have a slight ownership and I'm being a bit partial, but forgive me, we can't help but being partial. Even with our children, you know, we have one favorite. So forgive me. So now, Bandeep is formerly photo editor of India Today. Currently, he's working as photo editor of Fortune magazine, India edition. His images have been published in numerous reputable publications as Time, India Today, the New York Times, Business Week, and Forbes. Singh's personal work is conceptual and exploratory. His work is deeply influenced by his cultural leanings, Indology, mysticism, Sufi poetry, and music. His work in diverse genres ranging from documentary to portraiture, eroticism, and conceptual to still life photography. So before we actually begin our discussion, it would be nice to see Bandeep's presentation, and then we can do the talking, because after our talking, and I tell you we are a voluble lot, it would be unfair to have Bandeep show his very sophisticated pictures. Thank you.
Wonderful introduction, and because I was, when I was about to get up from the chair, I was a little embarrassed because this seems to be a gathering of CVs on the rostrum, and I had just a two-line thing. This was an image created just outside Ichol, the landscape facing the art center. It's a dry canal which is not used anymore, echoing the landform, the geography. These are just a little ahead, across the Maihar village, the town, there is this beautiful landform. It's a plateau called the Rampur Plateau. It has trees growing on the underside of cliffs. So when I went there, I saw this amazing branches coming out, and some of these images, inspired some haikus that I wrote. I would like to read a few along with these images. There's some light here. I wanted a real light, not the light of my life.
What better light? I have a better light could be.
Shadow patterns in the water. Trees melt into ink. Ink into more trees. Ripples. This is an abstract image from the Maihar Palace. What happens is that as an artist, you always respond to sight stimulus, and explanation and the metaphor is often retrofitted or seen after response to that stimulus. This, to me, was, the palace, the old antiquated palace going through a time warp. A beautiful sunset we encountered at Amaria. Again, an abstract pattern from the palace. These are cobwebs under an old, unused staircase. Markings on a wall.
I think ladies first, perhaps. So I'm going to ask Arshia. She has been a great builder of institutions. She has set up the foundations of the art programming at the Habitat. Neev dali hai yahan. Set up CREE, has done a lot of work with the dance institutions, and I think perhaps you would, from your vast experience and your stay in Ichol, have thoughts about what you think about Ichol, what it is, what it could be, and how institutions today like Ichol are a necessity to a civil society.
Thank you very much, Alka. Thank you, Ambika, for having me at Ichol, and Gopika, thank you for picking me in this very august gathering that went to Ichol, because you chose me at a time when I really needed to cut off from the rest of my life. And Ichol gave me that space. I actually just thought I'm going to see a beautiful part of India, and never prepared or anticipated the impact Ichol was going to have in my life. It is almost like a watershed moment, because before that there was this crazy buzz in my life, doing things, building institutions as you called it and all that. And then came this 4 or 5 days which were magical in Ichol. Like that tree, everything was so much stiller, so much calmer, and I was able to slow down a bit. I was able to breathe, be aware of my breathing, so when people say breathe, breathe, that actually happened to me there. I realized I was breathing, and there was a upward and a downward going breath, and of course the stunning visuals which Bandeep has got what you've just seen is the tip of the iceberg. I mean, that entire photo essay on lotus flowers is not even touched in this. I mean, there were these big ponds with lotus blooming, and it just made you connect with your inner self, and a truer Arshia came to the forefront within 4 days. If in 4 days that place could have this magical thing, that is what convinced me. It is Aap Biti that convinced me about the power of Ichol. As far as institutions go, yes, I have had the opportunity of building several that are tangible, like the Habitat Center, or to some extent even Purva Sanskriti Kendra, which is in East Delhi. Some intangible centers, festivals, in things. But when you are an institution builder, there is no moment of stillness. You get a good idea, you work on it in a methodical manner. The romance of art. I lived my life in the arts, but there was no romance left for me. I was facing all the, where's the list? Have we ticked off how many things are done? 23 things, 7 not done as yet. So there was this pressure. But if you go as a visitor, or as a person who's attending a residency in Ichol, or just for some solitude, that's really when the magic comes. And a beautiful center the Habitat is, and I'm really proud of it. I consider it my third child. But what the Habitat gives is a different kind of sort of richness to your life. It doesn't give what Ichol does. Ichol is far more spiritual. Ichol is more inward looking. Habitat still is outward looking. There's buzz doing things, 5 programs a day. इधर भागो, staggered opening करते हैं ताकि सब जगह थोड़ी देर के लिए आप जा सको. I am not in that space anymore. I don't think I could build a Habitat again. I was younger, and younger legs, faster mind, that was fine. But today I can appreciate a place like Ichol. I think what it is was just phenomenal. For me, one of the strongest and most beautiful moments. I think I wrote about it as well. So whenever you get to read the journal, you will know. Very few people know that I have actually trained in dance, but I've never danced professionally.
Did you dance in Ichol?
Yes. So that's what I was coming to. I walk in there, and there's this beautiful stage, and on one end of the stage is this bronze image of Baba Alauddin Khan. And of all the musical stories, the one from childhood that touched me the most was Baba's story, his moving to Maihar, the whole Maihar band history, the Nal Tarang history. I mean, it was just fantastic, to think that music, a desire for peace creates a musical instrument which is one of a kind in the world, the Nal Tarang. It's made out of barrels of guns, I mean, this is just the sort of stuff a young child gets quite fascinated by, and I was from then crazy about it. So here was this man whom I had admired all my life, and there was this beautiful tree, जिसकी एक वो branch के लिए मैं वारी जाऊँ kind of a thing. That branch, it danced by itself, and it almost just kissed the stage. There's jaga, you can put your foot, you can put your hand, there's jaga. But the way it came down, it was like one dancing movement. And behind me there was this one bauli, and on the other side there was this chhatri. There was no music, there was no nothing. I just kicked off my shoes, got onto the stage, and I really have no idea when I last danced. But I just danced and danced and danced on that stage. It was like shock to everybody. Isko kya ho gaya? Ye bawri ho gayi hai, kind of a thing and all that. But it just did. Everything was dancing. Ek to ye log bhi mere ko इनके नजरिए से जब मैं देखती थी, they were with me. Maybe if I'd gone alone, maybe I wouldn't have been so inspired. But here was this guy going crazy about his water lilies, and Sudeep was saying poetry and this, that, and everything. And I was also getting quite chubbied by the process. We went to Amaria, where you saw that beautiful thing, the bamboo and the ink and more trees, wali kahani, and all the trees into ink. There, because Bhavna was there, she sang so beautifully. And I just started doing abhinay, like then, nothing just said. There was no stopping. It was like somebody had opened up this dhakkan that was on some joyous dancing spirit in me, which just got unleashed. And I am so blessed that this happened, and I know we stayed in the home of Ambika and Sanjeev, and we really must have inconvenienced them with our odd demands for this, that, including the famous Malish. But it was a soul-touching moment, and I touched my own soul, so I was really happy. If in all the zillions of things that you've just talked about, institution building and all that, if even one person has felt momentarily like this, I feel that as an institution builder, I've succeeded. So I think Ambika sort of succeeded even before she started, because the opening formally had not happened till after my dancing days there. So Alka, that's what I feel. So why this multi-arts wala jo baat hui na, Center for Multi-Skills wali jo baat hui? I think Ichol is perfect for a place like that. It stirs each other. I mean, each person inspires the other to something big. एक ज़माने में कुछ राजवाड़े ऐसे थे जहाँ पे painting भी उभर रही थी, music भी उभरता था, dance भी उभरता था, and each one, and hence you have Tarana as a music form and Tarana as a dance form kind of a thing. Hence you have the miniature paintings and dance and miniature paintings connected, because each inspired the other. I feel Ichol could well play that kind of a role in modern times as a crucible for creativity and inspiration across the arts. And I'm so glad I went with so many diverse people. So many things I learned from everybody, and each one stirred me on. आज तक उनकी बातों पे या उनके pointed चीज़ों पे मैं सोच करती हूँ जब भी मुझे time मिलता है. Like, you know, whenever there is a little moment of silence, which I seem to be wanting more and more of in my life now. So I think Ichol is just destined to do a very good job for the arts. Of course, it is far away. You know, you go through the Panna jungles and then suddenly in the middle of nowhere this thing just appears, like, you know, in front of you. It's far, but it's not far. It's one night's drive, train journey, or 2 hours by flight and another 2-3 hours. कैसे समय निकलता है? By the time you've begun leaving the city behind, you're in Ichol. So it's really quite an exceptional place. I think it will grow in many ways, and much will also depend on who takes the lead and initiative for what. And I think Ambika will be open to having other people taking a sort of a proactive role and treating it as their place and deciding to do things there. I think a lot of older people will enjoy that, and I know that there are some young people in the audience who have very creative ideas, and I hope they will look upon Ichol also as a very special place, a place blessed by the muses. Thank you.
Thank you, Archie. We have a poet here who, for him, it would be a place which would be idyllic. So let's hear what Shrudeep has to say about Ichol.
First, before I even begin, the best part of the whole experience is there's a family to come to, a family you leave when you leave Ichol, but somehow we're all connected with the threads and the words and the images which we all created. There were some amazing stars and celebrities amongst us, and not for a single moment, for the first time in my life, in a gathering of 8 people, we were all like babies and children and brothers and sisters. The word EGO never came in there. And that is a miracle. It is a miracle because the kinds of people who were there are pretty stroppy, can be, and are extremely opinionated. But it just melted. Everything just melts there. A large part of it is to do with the fact that it's quote-unquote family run. So there's the mother of the house, the grandmother of the house, with an A word called Ambika. There's a father and a grandfather who's much more relaxed. Sanjeev is kind of easy, you know. Everybody's talking about the holiness of this place. And I was thinking that I have to sort of say something very saintly about this place. But we had a blast. We had a blast. We drank and danced and did all sorts of things which you're not supposed to do in front of a god. But the gods were kind. You see, Bhagwan jo hai, if you remember, the word libation is first the gods drink, then the humans drink. तो संजीव ने तो वो कैबिनेट तो अच्छी तरह से खोल के रखा था. Anything we wanted came. She's talking about dancing on the stage. You don't know how much dancing we all did after a few glasses of wine. And that was just the beginning, you know. And all of us are teetotalers, you know.
Yeah, right.
And the vegetarian food. But the amazing thing is also it's triangularly pronged. One, there's the Mayar house, their own ancestral house, which became the sort of springboard from where we sort of explored the area. The other place is the Amaria Writers' Retreat, which was still being built when I was there, and I had to leave early. I think the best thing I did was I went 2 days early, so I had the privilege of undivided attention of Ambika and Sanjeev and Tanya and the staff. Superly generous, and but what it did do is I had the treat of the stillness before the Jhund came. And amidst all the raucous chaos and celebration, all of us were still in our own way. And you'll see it when you see the journal, you'll just see the quality of light that shines through. The quality of the weather shines through. The texture of the leaves, the ruggedness of the mountains, the gods. And you know, I'm not a particularly saintly person. I have more sins than, goodness in me. But it does transform you for a few days. Unfortunately, I came back feeling rather too holy for my own liking.
But for that, there is Khajuraho next door.
No, the Khajuraho pales. The heaving bosoms and the thighs of Khajuraho pales next to the beautiful abstract art you see at Ichol. And as a poet and a photographer or a visual artist, one of the things I was particularly fascinated was Ambika's father, who actually did all the drawings and is the architect. The form, how modernism and rural India beautifully marry and stay as a unified object in this vast space. You have the chhatri at one end. You have the step well, which is not a step well. Was it a step well? Yeah, it's a step well. It's a chota sa bauli. And then you have this incredibly beautiful modernist glass metal structure and wood structure with triangular loops just soaring into the sky as if it's the Dhanush of Arjun. It's just an amazing space. And when you walk around there, you see the soul of her dad. There's love, there's passion, there's desire, and there's a lot of hand holding. I mean, it's just, we are so glad and blessed that your name is erased, your surname is erased. The only thing that is celebrated there is the human spirit. And I think hats off to your dad, actually. You're blessed. And Sanjeev P, वैसे काफी ठीक है. He's a good guy, for which, because of the two men in her life and her sons, this woman flourishes. And this woman is pretty special. So thank you, Ambika. Rest of it is, I don't want to talk in prose because we can go on and on about it. Mostly you should just see it in the journal, and there's just so much of it there.
Well, I'm not going to react to what Shubhit said because of the two men. I'm a late life feminist, so I like to say it's the power of the woman, which, Adi Shakti. But anyway, we are here today in a very joyous mood, so we can take the discussion later. But yes, it's a very special place. Paresh, you have to say a few words. You were there, or aap jo kehna chahe. You speak in Bangla, speak in Hindi, speak in English. It is a plural country. Ab ye nahi bolna, I speak through my paintings. Warning.
Thank you, Alka. Nearly 13, 14 years back, when about early 2000, art was flourishing in this country, contemporary art especially. Art camp, art workshop was very, very popular thing. Ambika suddenly decided to do an art camp and asked many artists. We were going, as I travel everywhere, everybody was asking me, where are you going for this art camp? I said, Maiha. You won't believe 90% of them, they did not know where is Maiha. What is Maiha? Where is Maiha? I said, it is the central province in India, just 160 kilometers from Khajuraho. We have never heard the name. I got to know Ambika about 30 years back when I was studying in Government College of Art and Craft. Anyway, since that art camp, everybody, he said that what fun and all this we had. Every year I was going there, I fell in love in that space. Jessie was also coming in between. About 4 years back, suddenly she said, Paris, will you be able to come for a few days and work? I said, who is there? She said, nobody, me and Baba. I went and she said, we bought a piece of land. I asked, how much? She said, this much. She said, I asked her, what are you going to do here? She said, I want to make art center. And I said, Ambika, who will come here? Why don't you do, close to Kolkata, maybe in Shantiniketan, maybe. She said, no, I want to make it here. What passion and what dedication and love. Last 4 years, Ambika and her father standing in that, during the summer, about 47 or 8 degree temperature. And we used to talk, I talked, otherwise we talk every week or every second week. I always ask, what is the temperature, Ambika? Said, Paris, you will not believe. Winter also is very, very hard. But what a beautiful place. The place is situated exactly, we have seen one of his photograph, beautiful, little hill, lot of fields. Train is going, it reminds me of Satyajit Ray's Opus Sansari. Train is going every, maybe, 15 minutes. And those old, Dhuawala train. But what was the unique thing over there, one chhatri and a little, the well. I asked many times, why is this chhatris? She said, Arey, don't worry, we will design something with the chhatris. You tell us which way, where to make what. Still, I was trying to discourage her that, Ambika, better go somewhere else. She said, no, don't worry. When people will be coming from Khajuraho and going to Bandhavgarh, it is absolutely in the center. She tried to convince me. Then I cannot tell you what really passion she and her father, of course, the whole family, and Sanjeev Dada and Aditya and whole family, of course, Bhavna. And every day she used to say, whenever I used to go visit Calcutta to her gallery or here, she would come, Arey, itna ho gaya, dekho, itna dur ban gaya. And I could not believe that the way they were building. Then middle of this February, when she decided to inaugurate this place. So I said, okay, I will come. Just she couldn't make it. We went, and what a glorious and beautiful art and center she created. Of course, we are missing her father today, and I have seen last 15 years how, and I know where Ambika's father's house. I used to go there also. Whenever I asked where is Baba, they would say he's in Maiha. He was becoming like Rabindranath Tagore, big beard and growing every day and sitting there and making this art center. And the first day when the inauguration of the center was there at Ichol, I went and I asked Ambika, where is Baba? He said, he just finished your kitchen because I decided to stay in the center. She said, palace mein. I said, palace mein kaun jayega? Humko udhar rehna hai, I need to work. And I need to get that spirit of that space. And she said, he just, the last thing he finished, your kitchen, you said you will cook here, and I stayed there. We have missed him there very much. All of us enjoyed, and hopefully there will be many more such art center all over India, because we are, as we know, everybody we know that India is, thriving with culture, art, photograph, dance, music. We should need many more center like Art Ichol. It is the beginning. Thank you, Ambika. Thank you, your whole family, Bhavna, that for such wonderful, present you could give to the art society, art world, with your, dedication and love. Thank you very much.
Bandeep had already given his presentation, so do you think we open it to the house if anybody would like to ask any questions to Ambika, to any of the panelists here, make a suggestion?
I'd like to read
So I'll read two poems, if I may. One is very much to, I'll tell you why. It's not funny. First is based in my hair. And I will read another one which is dedicated to Munu, Amitav, our Dada, his sister. I wrote this poem. It's about art center. It's called Bowl. I have to read it because it's brand new and it's a gift to Munu. But I'll read the Under My Hair Night Sky first. It has a epigraph from Marcel Proust which says, "Desire makes everything blossom. Possession makes everything wither and fade." And there's also a little epigraph from A.V. which says, "We are all lovers, and that's how we meet." Angular sparks shoot light, an embedded stone pierced on your peach wheat skin glints, a gem nestled in the soft cleft between your lower lip and curve of your little chin. Ankur V's nighttime words visit us. We are all lovers, that's how we meet. It is that love for love, love for life, for words crafted as exquisite pieces, love for yearning to want to live, to create, to thirst for evermore. A hug turns into a kiss to another shy kiss, kisses to deep touch, to desire, blossoming in the night's thick, bracing air. Then, like an unexpected passing train, all is left aborted with a knife slice. A sudden flash of thoughts of your past loves, loves that soured perhaps. In this courtyard's horseshoe, the air is full of wine-lipped fragrance, of Raat Ki Rani and jasmine, of prayer calls that affirm love's gem glint, love that is natural as an age-old friendship. Nearby, muezzins' cries merge with temple chants, with the Gurdwara prayers, with the constant clatter of tracks, fast trains hurrying past Maihar railway station that lie publicly beyond this private, secret garden. The walls here cannot hold all the dust accumulating ceaselessly, in spite of the cleaner's broom that repeatedly trace sweeping alternating arcs, broom handle in her calloused hands, mapped loves she could not hold on to in her own life. But love, like all lovers, is how we shall meet. Do not fear the power of lust that keeps you from belonging. Perhaps your gemstone's hot white light will spark longing to unfreeze. Under my heart's dusty cold night sky, we are all lovers, and that's how we meet. And this is a very, very new poem. I'm reading it for the first time. It's called Bowl. It's dedicated to Manisha Bhattacharya, Amitabh's sister, who's a dear friend. She hasn't seen the poem yet, and it's in my new book, but the book belongs to her really now. And it takes off from this beautiful Japanese word called Kinsukuroi, which means in Japan or in Oriental art, you often repair.
Actually, it's her day today. It's Gopika's day. And she was the first curator for the residency. She's the editor of the journal. I have a biodata which is 1 mile long. But what I want to say is that she is a product of Central St. Martin's when it was known as just Central. She was on a Fulbright scholarship. She's a textile artist, she's a writer, she writes on chai. Basically, she's a thinking person who lives in a position of great privilege doing what she wants. And I think that's the greatest privilege for anybody. So thank you very much, Gopika, for all the effort of making Art Ichol and enlivening it. जैसे मंदिर में प्राण प्रतिष्ठा करते हैं तो वो तो हो गई. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Alka. And thank you, Bandeep, Arshia, Paresh, and Sudeep, for your insights into the possibilities that can be explored at and through the facilities and locales in and around the Art Center, Ichol Art Center in Madhya Pradesh. I am sure that some of what we have witnessed today is just the beginning of creativity that such centers can bring forth through multidisciplinary exchanges in the arts, right across from dance and music to sculpture and poetry. Something that all of us can be a part of and look forward to seeing in the very near future. As Arsha mentioned, at Ichol we have a small stage overhung with low branches of an aging mango tree. Arsha was giddy with excitement at the prospect of being able to dance on this stage, especially when the Amra Manjari was in flower. The stage, as she mentioned, is sanctified by a bronze sculpture of Baba Alauddin Khan, who created the much-acclaimed Mayar Band. Ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to have among us today the esteemed dancer and guru, Padma Bhushan Shrimati Saroja Vaidyanathan. With the vision of foreseeable concerts, I now invite her to please come up and say a few words and to launch the much-awaited Art Ichol Journal. Saroja Vaidyanathan is among the leading Bharatanatyam teachers of the country, founder-director of the Ganesha Natyalaya, a dance institution in Delhi. She has also written a number of books on Bharatanatyam and Carnatic music, including The Science of Bharatanatyam. Srimati Vaidyanathan was conferred the Padma Shri in 2002. In 2006, she was accorded the title of Bharata Kalai Sudhar. And in 2013, she was awarded the Padma Bhushan. She is also a recipient of the Sangeet Natak Academy Award for her contribution to Bharatanatyam. And a documentary film on her work in the field has been produced by Media Craft Production. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Srimati Saroja Vaidyanathan to say a few words and to launch the much-awaited Art Chol Journal.
Thank you, Gopika. Ambika, Sanjeev, Aditya, Bhavna, and Vivek, and the expertise, and Arkaji, and for all of you, Mera Pranam. I'm really very happy that I'm with you today, because generally I go for dance shows. I do my performances, always connected with music and dance. When I see Ambika, I really thinking about me. Because in 1982, I was allotted a land in South Delhi. It was in South Delhi, but it was very far. When I went and saw the land, it was actually a small forest behind the Qutub Hotel. I was thinking, who is going to come here to learn dance? As Parish told, that it's too far. Who is going to come? But now, after 28 years, that has become the prime spot, prime area in Delhi. Lot of institutions have come, and I'm so proud about it. So I think, Ambika, in few years, now we all think that Art Ichol is quite far. How to go about it? But I think in few years, it will become a prime spot. I could see the real artist in Ambika. Some people come out with their ambitions as a dancer, as a musician, as an artist. But she has come as a whole artist, inviting and encouraging all of us. We are all part of you. We all come to you. I should say with our heart full to encourage and bless. I also wish Bhavana, who is always with you. She's a very good singer, I came to know just now. Because her daughter was studying under me, I never knew about it. I think I should have trained you in dance also, along with your daughter. So my blessings to Ambika and whole troupe, and God bless her to give full strength, and I want to see this should be one of the best institutions, Art Ichol. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Saroja ji, for your kind words of encouragement and your blessings on our endeavor to nurture myriad creative arts and their many facets at Art Ichol. I think I speak for Ambika Berry as well when I say that the stage at Art Ichol is awaiting the gungurus of Indian dance to join the sculptors and painters who have chiseled and painted in the spaces around it. Mrs. Ambika Berry, would you please join us on stage and present the first issue of the Art Ichol Journal to our esteemed guest, Srimati Saroja Vaidyanathan, to officially launch this publication.
Dada?
Okay, we take alternate. Two of us will hold the journal. ये लो, आगे से ले लो. नहीं हम सब पकड़ेंगे.
Do you want it slightly closer?
Your side. My side.
Yeah.
My side.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for being here and being so patient. Tanya and Pooja are outside waiting to give you your copy of the journal. I do hope you enjoy it.